In this video, we're just going to explain to you very quickly what is a radian. One of the most difficult things is kind of switching your mind from measuring angles in degrees to measuring them in radians. And realize that 1 radian is defined as the length of the radius of a circle laid on its edge. So right now, if we take these 7 circles that are forming the radius of this larger orange circle, and we place them along the edge of the circle, we can get approximately, because we're not really laying them down perfectly, but approximately the length of 1 radian along the edge of that circle. So the angle formed between the blue dot and that point on the circle, that was a really badly drawn line there, but between the blue dot and that edge of the circle, cheat a little bit there, right here, forms 1 radian of measure. So this angle right now would be 1 radian. And if you could repeat that process, taking those circles, again, and laying them again, just along the edge of that circle, we can find where 2 radians will be. And we can also get a reasonable approximation of what it's going to be to travel at least halfway around the circle. So let's put a little mark there for 2 radians. And we'll take those same circles. Hopefully we can just grab just them. Nope, doesn't want to let us do it, so we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way again here. Just move all these circles over here. Again, reasonably close. Not perfection, but pretty darn close there. There's 3 radians. And you'll notice in that last little gap before we get halfway around the circle, we could probably fit maybe 1 more circle. And if we throw it in our calculators, we'll realize that that 1/7 one of those circles is approximately 0.14, I believe 0.412, and a few more decimals going onwards, which makes us kind of remember, well, 3 full radiuses and 1/7 will come out reasonably close to pi. And that helps us realize that if we did measure it perfectly, if you go perfectly halfway around a circle, especially if the circle is of radius 1, well, the full circumference would be 2 pi, and half the circle would be measured as pi. And that's where we can form our unit circle. If we form a circle with radius 1, when r equals 1, remember the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, therefore 1 time around is essentially 2 pi radians. Halfway, or at 180 degrees, we're at pi radians. At 90 degrees, well, half of 180 would be 1/2 pi. And we can start to form some reasonably easy to use and kind of recognizable values. Again, if that's 1/2, here's 2 halves at pi and 3 halves at 270 degrees. We can also think of what common angles we tend to use in degrees. We usually use things like 45 degrees. Well, 45 degrees is half of 90. So half of a half of pi is going to be pi over 4. And if we do multiples of that, 45 plus 45 is 90, plus another 45 will be 135. We can also add it on again, get 180, 225, 270, and 315. Well, remember, to go those same distances, or those same angle measures, we're traveling 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. 4/4 is a full pi, 5/4, 6/4 again is 3 halves, and 7/4, or 7/4 of pi, is equivalent to 315 degrees. In that same fashion, we can think about 60-degree angles. 60 added to 60 is 120. Again, gets 180 again. Add another 60 is 240, and 300. So if we literally laid down some red lines connecting our 60-degree angles, right, we're chopping our circle basically into 6 pi pieces. Well, remember, half of that pi, or half of that circle, is pi units, or pi radians. So you've chopped the top half of the circle into 3 parts, which is why 60 degrees is essentially pi over 3. Go 2 of those units, you've got 2 pi over 3. Do it again, You've got 3 pi over 3, then 4 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3. Again, 6 over 3 being 2 full pi, or a full circle. That same thing works for 30-degree angles. Remember, the multiples of 30 essentially fall on 60 and 90. So if you think about 30 degrees above the x-axis, we're 1/6 of the way to pi. 30 degrees short of 180, or 150 degrees, is 1/6 of pi short of a full pi. Well, 1/6 minus, or 1 full pi minus 1/6 would be 5/6. Plus 30 degrees, or plus pi over 6. And finally, the last of the 30-degree multiples over here, 30 degrees short of 360 is just 1/6 short of a full 12/6, or basically 11/6 is 1/6 short of 2 pi. Hopefully that helps you understand radians a little bit better, and as your language teachers will tell you, if you can learn to think in radians, it's much easier to actually use radians, much like any language like French or Spanish or Chinese or whatever you may be taking. I hope that helps you again, and have a great day.